Here we go. We've approached week 10 of the regular season for divisions 1 through 5 in Arizona high school football. I'm Mark Heller back here with Kyle Odegard before we jump ahead to the last regular season week, which begins Friday, which is still, as I've said for about 3 weeks in a row now, still kind of scary. Let's take a quick pause and review of week 9. The two things that stand out, Hamilton beating Basha in a quite the countdown thriller, and a heck of an effort by the Bears because in many ways, many people think they should have won that game, but Basha also showed the best that they can do when they're balanced on offense and defense, and Hamilton came up defensively with the plays that they needed to make. Basha still, in your opinion, on that sort of 1B tier, second tier? Are they back in the title discussion fold with that game, or is that too much of a reach?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good showing for them, so they're definitely, that improved what they can do when you play with Hamilton from start to finish. But I think defensively there's too many questions still. I wouldn't be surprised if, like they did last year, they gave somebody a scare or won a quarterfinal game and they made the semis. Could they make the title game? Could they win it? Maybe. I think they're a long shot, but they're definitely a kind of a Cinderella type story that could happen because they have a lot of parts that, could work out if they get good matchups and play well. So they're kind of hard to peg down, but they do have the potential.
Yeah, and we'll see. Obviously, the brackets when they come out this Saturday, the brackets probably might shake out a little bit more difficult, a little more jumbled together even than last year's, the way the power rankings are set up. Speaking of power rankings, real quick, because now we're back in more confusion land, the world of the unknown. Highland, for example, jumps from number 12 down to number 14 after they beat Mesa, while Sierra Vista Buena moves up from 14 to 12. And I know there's some other consternation there with a couple other schools. So a few weeks ago we said these look like they're in the right place. Now we're not quite so sure. Like, do you feel like coaches and fans now have more of a legitimate beef of wondering what's going on, or is this still going to shake out as it should?
Yeah, I think there's definitely more concerns now. Like you said, we wrote that story 3 or 4 weeks ago saying, hey, we don't know the formula, but
they looked right.
All the seeds look good.
They looked good.
And now, like you said, Highland drops to 14, and now if they lose, they're probably out of the playoffs. I mean, you can make an argument that they probably should be in. I understand if they didn't make it based on they only won one big game. But the fact that they were number 12 and then they won a game and dropped to 14, and now if they lose, they might be out. So it's pretty tough to, kind of reconcile that if you're a Highland fan, if you had a pretty good season and that happens. So I think there's definitely questions about the PowerPoints. We're going to have to see what happens next week, but if a team like Highland falls out, there's definitely going to be some outcry from the Highland community who's, had a team that we thought if once they beat Mesa, they'd be in for sure.
Yeah.
Now we don't know.
Yeah, and same issue with a different issue, but Saguaro and Cactus in Division 3 looks very, very interesting. We'll put it that way. Between being number 9 and number 8, and how that's kind of a jumbled. So we'll have to see how these shake out when the brackets come out on Saturday morning.